Perplexity just dropped their biggest announcement ever. And every tech channel you follow is going to tell you they've tested it. I'm going to do something different. I'm going to tell you exactly what Perplexity is claiming about this thing, what I actually think about those claims as someone who uses their product every single day. And then I'm going to upgrade my plan, test it properly, and show you everything in a follow-up video. Because honestly, anyone telling you they've fully tested an autonomous AI system that can run projects for months in the 18 hours since it launched is either lying or hasn't thought about what testing actually means. Hi everyone, Tony here from ImpartPad. Quick bit of context before we get into it, because it matters for why I think my take here is worth your time even without hands-on access yet. I use Perplexity almost every day. It's part of my actual workflow. Research, fact-checking sources before I make videos, comparing tool claims against what I can verify independently. I'm not a casual user. I know the product well, which means when Perplexity makes claims about what their new product does, I have a reasonably informed opinion on whether those claims are plausible, ambitious, or just well-written marketing. And what they dropped yesterday is genuinely interesting. Let me show you what they said. Here's what I want you to stay for. By the end of this video, you're going to know what Perplexity Computer actually is in plain English, what the 3 most important claims they made are, and whether they're credible, what this thing actually costs, including the number they're not putting in headlines, and exactly what I'm going to test in the follow-up and when. Let's get into it. Perplexity Computer is what they're calling a general-purpose digital worker. That phrase is from their actual blog post, and it's a deliberate choice of words. They're not calling it a chatbot. They're not calling it an assistant, a worker. Here's what that means practically. Right now, if you want AI to help you with a complex project, let's say research your competitors, write a report, build a simple dashboard showing the results, you'd have to use 4 or 5 different tools, copy paste between them, manage the context yourself, and spend more time being the project manager than doing the actual thinking. Perplexity Computer is supposed to change that. You describe the outcome you want. It breaks the job into subtasks. Each subtask gets routed to whichever AI model is best at that specific thing. And then, this is the genuinely ambitious part, it runs in the background without you touching it again. Their exact quote, "The coordination is automatic and the work is asynchronous. You can focus on other things or run dozens of Perplexity computers in parallel." Now here's where it gets technically interesting and where the scale of what they're claiming starts to become clear. Perplexity Computer isn't one AI. Based on what's been confirmed so far, it orchestrates over 19 different frontier models simultaneously. Each model is treated as a specialist. Web research goes to models optimized for that, writing to language models, coding to coding-focused models, image generation to dedicated image models, video generation, if your task needs video, gets routed to a video model. The orchestration layer, or the thing sitting on top that decides who does what and when, is the part Perplexity has been quietly building. And from what the CEO described, that's where the real engineering work leaves. What's genuinely new here isn't any single model. It's the coordination layer. The idea that you don't have to be your own AI project manager anymore, that the system manages itself now. Whether that actually works reliably on messy, real-world tasks rather than the clean demos in the announcement is exactly what I'm going to test. But I want to be clear, the concept is credible. Multi-agent orchestration is a real and fast-moving area of AI development. Perplexity is not the only company working on this, but they may be the first to package it this accessibly, right? pricing, because this is the part that the hype pieces are glossing over. To access Perplexity Computer at all, you need to be a Max subscriber. That's their premium tier. And then on top of the subscription, Computer runs on usage-based pricing. You're paying for the compute, for how many models run, for how long, on how complex a task. Perplexity says you can set spending caps, which is sensible, but I want you to think about what this actually means in practice. If you ask Perplexity Computer to manage a month-long research project, checking sources daily, updating a report, remembering your preferences and context, you're running AI models continuously for weeks. One early estimate I came across, not from Perplexity, but from someone running the numbers, landed at around $1,500 for heavy monthly usage. That number hasn't been confirmed. Perplexity hasn't published a cost per task breakdown. And until someone actually runs real projects at scale and publishes what it costs them, we're all estimating, which, I'll be completely honest, is part of why I want to test this properly before I recommend anything. I'm going to upgrade to Max, run actual projects through it, track what it costs, and show you the real numbers. I've been poking at the gaps. Let me be equally honest about what genuinely impressed me, because there are real things to be impressed by, and I'd be doing you a disservice if I just picked holes without acknowledging that. The persistent memory piece is the one that caught my attention. Perplexity Computer is designed to remember your projects across sessions, your preferences, your brand guidelines, past decisions, ongoing work. It's not starting from scratch every time you open a tab. As someone who uses Perplexity regularly, I know how frustrating it is to lose context between sessions with any AI tool. You spend the first 5 minutes of every conversation re-explaining your situation. If Computer genuinely solves that at scale, that alone changes how you'd use it. The other thing that stood out, they've set up a live stream. Right now, at perplexity.ai/computer/live, you can watch it doing tasks in real time. That's a confident move. You don't do that with a product you're not sure about. Here's the thing I keep coming back to, though, and it's the honest question I don't think anyone's asking loudly enough right now. The tasks Perplexity is demonstrating on the live stream, in the announcement, in the examples from the CEO are all clearly defined. Build a dashboard, write a competitor analysis, create a website. These are hard tasks for a single AI, but they're also tasks where success and failure are pretty easy to evaluate. Real professional work isn't like that. Real professional work is, I need to fix a relationship with a client that's gone sideways, draft the right email, and figure out if we should renegotiate the contract or walk away. That task requires judgment, context, knowing things about the situation that aren't in a document. The question for Perplexity Computer, the one I'm genuinely curious about, is how it handles the ambiguity of real work, not the demonstrations, the messy stuff. That's what the follow-up video is going to be about. So here's exactly what I'm committing to for the follow-up. 3 specific claims from Perplexity's announcement that I'm going to test properly and report back on honestly. Claim 1, that it can run a complex multi-step project end-to-end without needing constant input from me. I'm going to give it a real project. There's something I'd actually need done, and see what the output looks like and how much I have to intervene. Claim 2, that the persistent memory works across sessions on an ongoing project. I'm going to run the same project over 2 weeks and test whether it actually remembers context the way they're saying. Claim 3, that the usage-based pricing is controllable and predictable. I'm going to run real tasks, track every dollar, and show you the actual cost breakdown. Not an estimate, not a best case, the real numbers. So what do I actually think right now before I've used it? Here's my honest read. The concept is real and the timing is right. Multi-agent AI orchestration is where the industry is heading. This isn't Perplexity inventing something from nowhere. The question is whether they've executed it well enough to justify what they're charging. The live stream is a genuinely confident move that tells me they believe in the product. The architecture they're describing, 19 models, persistent memory, asynchronous execution, is ambitious but technically coherent. These aren't empty claims. What I'm skeptical about, the pricing transparency, the performance on ambiguous real-world tasks, and whether the usage costs stay manageable for individual creators and freelancers rather than enterprise teams with AI budgets. And here's the thing, I think you deserve someone who's actually going to find that out rather than speculate about it. So I'm upgrading, I'm testing it properly, and I'll be back with everything. The follow-up video is coming. I'm upgrading to Max soon. I'm running real projects through Perplexity Computer, and I'm going to show you everything. The outputs, the failures, the actual cost, and my honest verdict on whether it's worth it. If you want to be the person who actually knows whether this lives up to its claims, rather than just knowing what Perplexity says about it, subscribe. That follow-up is coming soon. I just need some time to run a meaningful and proper test. Before I leave, I have a question for you. What's the one task you'd want to hand off to an AI system if you genuinely trusted it to finish the job? Drop a comment below. Whatever comes up most in the comments, that's most likely going into the test. Until next time, thanks for watching and stay blessed.